gifts of life, the beauty of our children, the gift of the sunshine today. We count our blessings and the gift of freedom that we all share. Loving God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, for you are our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. The story unfolds on this day. This is the day. And the story is shocking and bold. And it unfolds in the sacred city, the capital of Jerusalem. Jerusalem, a town of some 45,000 people, not unlike the town of Wallingford. We have 45,000 residents. To put it into perspective, it is the financial center, the religious center, the governmental center of the nation. And 99% of the population lives out beyond Jerusalem. Miles and miles of agricultural settlements, miles of pasture for sheep, herds of cattle, and only the elite live in Jerusalem. It is the site of the governor's palace. It is the site of the temple. And it is the place where people come for the great religious holidays. And this day is the beginning of the great week of the observance of Passover. And you remember that Passover celebrates the delivery of the Jews from slavery in Pharaoh's Egypt. And so Passover is an enormously important holiday. Now, two things are happening on this day. Two processions enter the city. One from the north, and that's Jesus and his disciples. They are coming to observe Passover. Jesus rides into town, and there has been a lot of talk about this man. Who is he? People have heard him preach, teach, and in recent days, he's healed 2 blind men. And a little bit earlier, he called Lazarus out of the tomb. Is he truly a man of God? Is he the one longed for? Is he going to finally break the bondage of the new slavery under which people live, slaves of the empire of Rome? So we have a lot of layers of meaning going on here. The observance of Passover, recalling that great moment when Egypt sent forth the Jewish people out of bondage, and now this new moment of living under the heavy hand of Rome. Jesus enters the city from the north. From the south, Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate is the Roman governor, and he enters with troops from Rome. They've come up from Caesarea Philippi, that magnificent Roman town on the eastern end of the Mediterranean Sea. The troops are garrisoned there. Rome has targeted that strategic geographic location because it is the center of all the Middle Eastern trade, and the tribute, the taxes, are lucrative. So Roman troops are always garrisoned at Caesarea Philippi, the port city. They come inland for the observance of the religious holidays because inevitably there is a problem. There are zealots who resent the Roman rule, and they are there to make certain that everything is calm. The irony, the incredible irony. Jesus and his followers, a jubilant hope, an incredible desire to change the way life has been. And Pontius Pilate, with all the power of Rome walking behind him, troops in heavy armor, swords, and the display of absolute control. And if you dare doubt the absolute control of Rome, just look at the crosses on the hillsides. You open your mouth against Rome, and you will end up on one of those crosses. And the layers of emotional feeling. And this man, Jesus, he comes, and there's no fear. Why isn't he scared? And the other players in this great mix of emotion are the high priests, the scribes, and the Pharisees at the temple. Because Rome was clever. They knew how to conquer territory and rule. They would designate certain aristocratic families. They would go to the religious authorities in territory, and they would say, you collect the taxes, you gather the tribute, you pay Rome, but in return, you keep the peace. You chief priests, you aristocratic families, you want to live the way you're living, you control the peace. And so Jesus is coming into a city that is in ferment, in turmoil, because he has had the audacity to say that the temple structure itself, the heart of their very faith, is corrupted by the power of Rome. The temple is now in the role of collecting taxes, collecting tribute, and paying it to Rome. And the chief priests and scribes see their role as keeping the peace, saving the nation, saving the culture from the complete destruction of Rome. So we have an ironic triangle. And Jesus comes bringing hope. He's not afraid. Pontius Pilate comes bringing fear and power. And caught in the middle are the people who run the temple. They are the ones in control. And Jesus comes into town.